Hello everyone. Today's video I want to talk about Phainon. Now you may be confused by the 6 months number on either the title or thumbnail of this video. However, that's because betas always come out one patch before the character actually comes out, and so even though officially Phainon has only been out for 3 patches, we have known and we have seen the Doom posting for him for now 4 patches. Right. Phainon was probably the most controversial DPS beta that we've ever had in the history of the game, above that of Cassie or Evernight. Many people were saying that the fixed turns and only being able to increase his AV consumption through base speed is going to lead to him being incredibly bad. He's going to instantly fall off when he stops getting shielded, yada yada yada. Right. And today I went out of my way to check out the Zero Cycle site 2omph, which showcases the lowest cost zero cycles for characters, and Phainon is quite consistently in the top 3 across all modes except for APOC, and as well he is first on a few of them in terms of the lowest cost possible. Now Anoxa has had an insane glow up with the buff he gets from Saridra plus Irene, so now he's also competitive with like Casterus, Mono Remembrance, and Evernight at lower costs, but Phainon still holds strong nonetheless. Right. Even against the current AA, Phainon has one of the lowest costs, despite the fact that Aquila isn't physical weak, meaning he has to go through more res as compared to, let's say, Evernight or Cassie, because it already has Quantum and Ice weak. Right. So Phainon has aged a lot better than what people were saying, and I always told people this. I said you can't have a flawless DPS. Everybody either wanted him to not consume AV on his turns and his ult, or they wanted him to just, well, have no flaws, no skill point usage, can have infinite ult uptime, yada yada yada. They basically wanted this guy to be like self-insert isekai MC meme that you may see every here and then, of literally no flaws and completely destroys endgame content without the need to purchase literally any of his best in slot characters. I kept telling people, just wait for Saridra, just wait for Cyrene. And as of current, at like higher cost levels, yes, but if you're going to be pulling a full best in slot team in Eidelons, then you're probably going to go for that. Phainon is really competitive with the Mono Remembrance team in terms of clearing endgame content if you go into his E2. Right? As always, this is the #1 thing I've recommended to people all the fucking time. Please just go for his E2 before you go for anything else on his team, as that is the most important thing to pick up. And once you get that, I'm not even talking about MOC, Pure Fiction and APOC is where he gets the biggest glow up, going from E0 all the way to E2. Now, you don't need the E2. I'm not saying this. You can still perfectly finely clear with an E0 Phainon. I actually recently saw a E0 S1 Phainon plus E1 Saridra zero cycle against the upcoming 3.8 Sam boss. Right. And I believe that boss has something to nerf crit damage. Right. So that's going to be literally 4 patches later, officially 6 months after his launch MOC reset, and he's still zero cycling with a fair amount of cost, and you have an average of 5 cycles per team to be able to clear in this game. He's still doing astoundingly well even without his Eidelons, but his Eidelons make him even further busted by a very large amount, which is why I go so hard on recommending them. Right. So Phainon has aged incredibly, I'd say. And the best part is, this is as well something I've talked about prior, Phainon is much more likely to get indirectly buffed in upcoming versions as compared to like Cassie, for example, right? Because yes, the entire team in the short term has like perfect synergy, god tier for each other. Like, it's genuinely like you can't get any better. You can't imagine any better. But that's the problem. This means Cassie is very, very unlikely to get any future support upgrades going into version 4, whilst Phainon can probably benefit from literally any buffer being released in version 4 at all, right? And that's 100% something that people should keep in mind. Phainon's potential isn't already maxed out. Similar to like an Anoxa that keeps getting buffed by buffers releasing as well, he will just continuously get buffed by characters becoming stronger and stronger. Now, I wouldn't say Phainon is as versatile as Anoxa because of the fact that he enters a territory and he's on his lonesome, right? The problem with this is you can't do like a wheelchair, which is what a lot of people do with version 3 Hyacine and Tribi with version 2 DPSs, because Phainon is always going to be in his ult. So Anoxa can take advantage of a wheelchair technically, whilst Phainon can't. But still, it's very likely that we'll just get way stronger buffers in version 4. This wouldn't really be all that surprising. I mean, just look at how much stronger Tribi is compared to all the previous buffers we've had, and Tribi is also general, not even like a really niche so-called support. So I genuinely have confidence that Phainon will just end up getting indirectly buffed somewhere in version 4. How much it's by, I'm not sure, but literally any buff to him at this point would make him maybe the top Amphoreus DPS, which is something crazy to think about, right? So yeah, I think Phainon has aged incredibly well. The Doom posting aged really badly, in my opinion. The only way you can really say that, like, oh, Phainon is a failure is, like, his one flaw in Pure Fiction. I will say, getting E0 to E2, specifically in Pure Fiction, is insane. Like, it's not even comparable to the jump that you get from E0 to E2 in like MOC or APOC. In Pure Fiction specifically, it's genuinely, like, you can't believe how much easier it becomes, right? Like, for example, currently against the Argenti Pure Fiction, Phainon at E2 actually has the lowest cost zero cycle, even compared to things like Cassie, Evernight, and other teams against Argenti. And E0 Phainon couldn't dream of coming anywhere near close to that level of performance. So yes, his Eidelons do fix a major flaw he has, and they're incredibly strong, but in my opinion, this is a plus, right? Version 2 characters, their vertical investment wasn't anywhere near as strong as current characters are these days, and it's not like the endgame is scaling 2 characters Eidelon investment. It's very much so still scaling around E0 levels of power for the version 3 characters. So imagine you just get an E2 Phainon, your character is now like over 100% stronger, which means they can deal with 100% HP inflation incredibly easily. And keep in mind, 100% HP inflation is not something that's common in this game at all, or something that happens incredibly quickly. For example, in the entirety of version 3, we haven't hit 100% HP inflation. We've hit around 85%. So that's a year's worth of patches, if not more, without 100% HP inflation. So if you get your E0 Phainon to E2, and Hoyo keeps the same track record with the HP inflation they did this version, then your E2 Phainon in 1 year later would still outpace the HP inflation by going into his Eidelon value, which in my opinion is really, really fucking good, because that's not even the only vertical investments he has. He as well has things like Cyrene, Ceridra, E1 Ceridra, his Light Cone, yada yada yada. There's a lot to take advantage of, right? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You Phainon mains out there, do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you still hate, you know, his performance? I genuinely think he is one of the best Amphoreus DPSs, mainly because, similar to Anoxa, he can just be buffed by damn near anyone, which I think is incredibly valuable in a game like this, where many people meme about it. It's Honkai support rail. Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace out.